and to have general elections, who is in the board of the central bank, which is the only part issuing money in the society. That means money is controlled by the people and not by private interests.
Thanks so much, Henning, for a brilliance. And then I would like to return back to that uranium and Euratom connection that you elaborated on so brilliantly on this Second World War final turn into EU, yeah?
Yeah. I don't know so much about exactly that treaty. It is one of 3 treaties which started. There was a coal treaty also for the mining of coal. That was a tool to build up the European dictatorship which we have now. The European Commission is not elected by the people. This Mr. Juncker, he is an alcoholic. When he was in Riga last week, in the 22nd of May, he was drunk. He slapped people.
Who is he?
Jean-Claude Juncker.
Yeah.
He's the president of the European Commission, the most mightiest man in the European Union.
Okay.
From Luxembourg, a real crook. And he was chased because he was deeply involved in the stay-behind murders in Luxembourg in the 80s. But he survived, and he is drunk, he's an alcoholic. And when he received the European heads of state in Riga last week, it was Friday the 22nd of May.
Yeah.
Then he slapped people and
Really?
Yeah, you should link it on white TV. I have films there. And when the Orban came from Hungary, the Prime Minister, he said, "Oh, look, the dictator is coming," because he doesn't like that Hungary is in rebellion against the criminal crooks of the European Commission. So he was very, very peculiar in his behavior. And I can also only answer, if one of those two are a dictator, it is Jean-Claude Juncker, the head of the European Commission, because he's not elected by the people. Viktor Orban in Hungary is elected by the people. That's a huge difference.
Exactly. And that's exactly what they decided on the 9th May 1950. They decided that 12 years later they would create the European Commission, and so they did.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. And now they have all uranium in the whole of the European Union belongs to these people who created Euratom. They sort of run it.
Yeah, wasn't it some uranium stolen by George Soros in Kosovo, when that was the main reason why they made the Kosovo war in 1999? So I don't think that all uranium is controlled by the Europeans, which is in Europe. I think
very interesting theory.
Soros, they have their claims there.
Yeah, but we have Soros as governor, sort of, here in Baltic states. The hidden governor. Anyway, yeah. I wanted to ask you really, so we are thinking how to criminalize these criminal structures, rather systems, because if we would like to criminalize the structures, then the people who are in them would oppose it because they would be personally affected and criminalized. That's why we are thinking of avoiding maybe that method and trying to criminalize the systems, the sort of social system kind, scientifically, and just forbid some sort of social systems to be allowed, criminalize the systems, and then people can start using the good ones.
Well, I think that sounds more complicated. My suggestion would be introduce real democracy. We don't have democracy in any country.
Yeah.
Introduce real democracy. That means, and there you could criminalize, for example, if a politician or a journalist is lying, that should be criminalized. Or if they don't support information which they have, which is vital, that should be criminalized. There you could make it. But the main topic should be introduce real democracy.
Yeah, exactly. But I was thinking, so if you have, like in method, So if he's lying, it is criminal. So what do? We would like to throw him into jail. We would just like to have some kind of, we would just like to have some kind of law that if he has lied, then he cannot be in that position ever anymore.
Exactly.
Instead of putting people into jails. It's sort of like some kind of such systemic criminalization instead of a human civilization.
Yes, and jail is not helping so much, and they always get out.
Exactly.
It's much more hurting if they take all the money from them.
Yeah, yeah.
Because usually if they are in those positions, they pick money to them in values. Expropriate them.
Yeah.
It's much more effective than jail.
But anyway, without sort of causing any deep suffering, because the divine living systems and people themselves have to always have basic conditions served. And that's my great belief is that the only way to go forward with this and criminalize these criminal systems and succeed in it is by allowing the people within the criminal systems to get in a way, in a nice way, but without them having a chance to use these criminal systems ever again.
Yeah, you should forbid them to be a politician again or be a journalist again, and I suggest
if they already have done so.
I suggest for every newspaper or television station a point system. Every lie is giving 1 point. If they have more than 5 points, they are closed.
Yeah,
They lose
and some
rights
kind
to-
of maybe 12-year period where they can be tried again if they have sort of relearned into decent behavior.
But close them if they are lying.
Human system without all this violence that is all around us. And because I think this violence criminalization is the reason why we don't have good systems, because they scare people all the time. They scare with all this bloodiness and
it's not only
everywhere.
scaring. The main tool, as I pointed out earlier, why is the Latvian government so extremely stupid and joined the euro after all the bad experiences? Because they are under mind control. Mind control is an even mightier tool than the banking system, and nobody thinks about it. And it is so widespread.
But I think they are also scared of being left without their corrupt salaries into the current common man's situation where people are starving, really starving here.
This a little group of people controlled by this secret services in Sweden, for example, Israel and Mossad, the same in Latvia, I would suppose. Now, they are in charge of the technology to remote control human bodies and minds. That means they are in charge of the technology to put a chip into a politician or to take the DNA, the blood from a politician, and beam them with special beams and control their brains.
Theory,
And this we must crack. As long as we haven't taken away the mind control tool, you can make every reform. It would never succeed, because if you have the people under mind control, they make and proceed to make stupid things.
Yeah. So just to finalize this fabulous presentation, I would like to ask still on the European level. Do you have any ideas, because you work in Germany as well, and how could we get out of this European trap? It is a huge monster, sort of.
Yeah, basically the European thought is something very positive. Europe is split up in very small countries. If you compare to Brazil, to India, to Russia, to China, and so on, we can't stand internationally and compete if we would not unite. But we should unite in a democratic way. And that means we should give the power to the European Parliament, which every parliament in the European countries have, principally. And not as today, that it is not the Parliament but the Commission being in charge of everything. That is totally crazy. So take the power from the Commission and give it to the Parliament. Have honest elections directly, as we now have European elections. And those
and
elections,
real media that is sort of controlled by the people.
Yes, exactly. The media need to be reformed also, and mind control and so on. But basically, introduce democracy into the European Union, and then it will work much better, and people will accept it. And then only put the main topics which are vital for the Europeans in total to be ruled by the European Parliament, not as today that every tomato, how they shall look like, is governed by the European Commission. That is stupid. Have as much decisions on the local level, and only the real important issues which need to be agreed on the European level, those are to be ruled from the European part.
And then I can tell you what we're doing here in Latvia, because this I haven't had a chance to elaborate on. And just previous week, we in Latvian society, in the higher law commission that we have there as indigenous people, Latvia, we had this honor court where 9 honorable judges of indigenous people decided that we will be taking our own decisions, and we took decisions and left them into Parliament, and it is called a declaration of taking back the life space of indigenous people of Latvia. I haven't had time to get it translated into English, but at least that is one method that we believe in, because we have been making decisions here on our land for thousands of years, and we are powerful, empowered units, God's children, and we believe in this indigenous divine right to decide our laws ourselves. Talking about your local touch, about local decisions, so we are very proud to have created this, and we will be having also a ritual today to bring the messages up to the higher forces as well. And let us help these systems to save the world and all the nations of the planet from this horrid banking cartel clause that are bringing nuclear war upon us.
Yeah, not only nuclear war, as I told you there, also the mind control. The mind control is bigger danger than the nuclear war.
Yeah, I hope you're right. And thanks so much, Henning, that you were with us.
Welcome.
And you are fabulous, and all the powers with you in your great work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. That was Henning Witte. So, nevertheless, maybe you could stop it now, because it will take a while for me to prepare the next session.
Okay.